Hello and welcome to yet another edition of TIFFIN Talks. I have with me Karnesh Sharma and ANVITA Dutt, the people behind the quite remarkable BULBBUL, which I just saw. And I have to start with ANVITA, whom I've known on and off now, I think, for over 15 years. I knew her first as a lyricist who was working with Yash Raj Films in the days that we were all young. And she made
Yes.
quite a remarkable film, which I thought I saw so many traces of Baby and Charulata. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but I was so swept away by, the way you recreated that atmosphere.
Oh, thank you so much, Kaveree. It's true. It's been a lifetime since we spoke. But actually, Noshtonid, you're quite.
Yeah,
It's amazing that you picked up on that. Lots of people don't. So it
right.
wasn't so much. Yes, but Baby and Charulata, beautiful films, visually so evocative
Yeah,
and such amazing storytelling. But Noshtonid is one of my favorite Tagore stories,
right.
and somewhere I think elements of that crept in the moment. I was writing this folklore fairy tale kind of a story, and to me the neoclassical period in Bengal was one of the
Yeah,
most um, fairy tale like period in terms of its art, the architecture. It was just
right.
so aesthetically evocative that instead of setting it on another planet, like as a fairy tale is wont to be, it's another world, I set it in a period which
Yes.
was that beautiful. But yes, all the things, you are what you read.
Yeah,
You know, you are, if you are what you read. And so all those stories that have moved me, whether it's Ursula Le Guin or it is Tagore, they have kind of, they get under your skin, into your blood, and then
yeah,
out on the paper. So that's what's
absolutely.
happened.
Karnish, I wanted to bring you in here because it takes a lot of courage for a producer to bankroll a film of this scale and to mount it so beautifully. It could come off as tacky if it's not done right, And here you can see that you've invested in the production. You've really backed her story with a vision that really brings it to life. So, talk a little about the role of the producer, whom we usually disregard.
Yeah, I think it all started with the story itself. When Anushka and me, we read the story. We really liked it. We thought it's something special and unique. It almost reminds you of your, grandma tales, which are
Right.
being told to you as kids. So once the decision was made, I think it was paramount to give it the resources it needs, in mounting the film.
Yeah.
So, we were quite sure that we would partner with people who have the same gist of telling the story,
Right.
for telling the story. So I think we were very fortunate with Netflix that, they came on board from beginning, and they gave us a free hand. And post that, I think it was very important to associate with people who have similar taste in aesthetics. You
Right.
know, so was the case with our production designer, so was the case with our costume, the cinematographer, and the VFX house, in this case. So I think it was very important to get a team together which has similar visions and which is aligned and committed in telling the story which Anvita wanted to say. And I think we also uh, pride, we don't look at ourselves as producers, because we also feel, there is a lot more to producing a film, than this. So we consider ourselves storytellers.
Storytelling.
I think that's the role Anushka and me see ourselves in, and we are very happy with what Anvita, and I hope she feels we've done justice to it.
So,
Oh, yes.
how does a guy like you end up working with two such strong women?
A guy who is comfortable and respectful of women. I think I think as men, uh, at least I don't know why you should be intimidated by anything, you should accept and promote anybody, irrespective of gender, wanting to say anything. So I think it just happened that this story had Anvita involved in it. We had Pari with that Prosit involved with it. So I
Yeah.
don't have bias for Jane.
I know it's for a different platform, but congratulations on Patal Lok as well. I thought it's been one of the biggest hits, I think, of the lockdown, and I'm sure Bulbul will be too. Anvita, what was it like bringing your team together, bringing a team that would understand the story that you were trying to tell?
So, like I told you, and Karnesh was telling you, we came together as friends. We knew each other, and Karnesh read the script. So, first of all, they have very similar aesthetics and understanding of story to me. So, Karnesh is a reader, so is Anushka. They are moved by stories the way I'm moved by them. And then when the time came to actually crew up, they were fully on board and supportive of me, and in fact pushing me, saying that make sure that you get people who do justice to this, and I was so fortunate. So here's the thing. So Siddharth Diwan, who's the DOP,
Yeah,
uh, uh, I have known him again for many years. He's actually Anshalal's friend, very college friend. And we would have these, we are those people who, while everybody is laughing and talking loudly, we would gravitate to the balcony and talk about very strange, the spiritual nature of quantum theory of entanglement, like that. So actually, Karnesh and I also became friends over quantum physics. I think it's a very important
what
part
is?
of.
Let's not talk about quantum physics. You know, it always reminds me of Shashank Singh Rajput, so I don't want to go there. But
Oh God, no, no, no.
what is it about quantum physics that is so attractive to all of you?
You should read about it. It's great fun. But
Okay, sorry, yeah,
anyway, so we had connected. He's the kind of person who brings in so much love to his work, so
right,
much prep, and he came on board and he was just so excited about the vision, and he wanted to
right,
do everything in his power to. So my brief to him was that I want to light it like Caravaggio, and I
right,
wanted to look like a Raja Ravi Verma painting. And
yeah,
it was so heartening that this DOP got exactly what, when I was saying those things, he knew exactly what I meant. Then comes
right,
Meenal, whom I've known for years, for
yeah.
many, many years. And Meenal and I are the ones who will suddenly, like, we can talk for hours just about Sufa with pottery or Robert Adams
He,
ceilings.
he did
Right.
that to us, and we were after a point also fed up because I think the amount we learned, Siddharth, me, and Anshay, about the linen and about the different kind of saris which are there, and all the jewelry which is around. I think I wouldn't have been able to do through my life.
So, Karnesh, I was asking, how did a guy like you from the Merchant Navy, cricketer, end up in this creative world, and how have you negotiated it so far?
Uh, it happened just by chance. I think what we've done or what I did in Merchant Navy, the only source of entertainment for us was watching, because you didn't have satellite televisions back
Right,
then,
right. Yeah,
so we would have, on ship we would have these video VHS libraries, and
right.
wherever the ship would go, we would have movies from different part of the world. So I would, at times watch 2 films a day, 3 films a day when it permitted. And I reached a point when I didn't want to sail anymore, and Manish Sharma, who directed Band Baja Barat and
Yeah.
fan, and he was associated with Anushka on Rabne. It was one of those evenings, and Anvita, we're all
I we
close friends.
met we
Yes,
met for the first time in Manisha's house.
and I just was telling Manish that I'm done with this, and I think I'll go to Bangalore, because we were staying in Bangalore, and start a
Right.
brewery, or start a bistro or something like that. And he said, why don't you, I'm doing a film called Shuddh Desi Romance, and he said, why don't you assist me on that, and why don't you and so I started working on that film. And Anushka and me, we would constantly discuss that the kind of films we like, and she would always say, I don't know why we are not making such films. and it so happened that she took the decision that we should that she wants to turn producer, and we joined hands, and rest is history, as they say.
Yeah, lovely. And thanks for that, because I think you've allowed a lot of new voices to come into the industry, which is very important, I think. Anvita, yeah,
Yeah, sorry.
yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, I think it's very important
Yeah,
to do that, because we don't have, or we don't fit into the conventional Hindi film industry storytelling. We never understood that. Our understanding was very different of the cinema. So uh, only the fresh voices will make the story different and
yeah,
not fit into a pattern as such. So I think we that's our endeavor for us, Anushka and me and our company, to always bring not just new voices in terms of actors and directors, but also technicians, whether it is the
yeah,
music composer and other people.
yeah. Wonderful work. Anvita, how important is that to bring a story like yours to fruition? You also need to assemble the right kind of people. And you were talking about working with Meenal and getting Siddharth Diwan on board. What about the others and your actors? What beautiful actors.
I do. So yeah, I mean, I can wax eloquent about
Yeah,
each and every person who's worked on my film. I just love them. Then I got Amit Trivedi to score the film,
right.
which was, and all my lyricist friends rag me a lot, saying it's your film. There's not a single song in it. You are just completely useless. Because I told them once that when I make a film, I'll get all of you to write one song each. So they're
Right.
like, what is this? You're cheating us now. But I got Trivedi, who I feel, he's a storyteller himself. His
Mhm.
music actually tells stories. When you see, and I really think, I mean, his songs are wonderful, but I actually think that his scores are far superior. Like whether you
Right.
hear the score of Devdi or Udan or Lutera, his
Lutera.
scores are
Yeah.
stunning, stunning. So I was just fortunate because he's a friend, and I just went and met him for coffee in a studio, and I said, त्रिवेदी मैं पिक्चर बना रही हूँ तो ये सारे अन्विता जी ऐसे तो फिर तू म्यूजिक करे हाँ हाँ he so till he saw the rushes, till he saw the cut to score it, he not even read the script. He had
Right.
no idea. But he was just like, I'm doing it because it's your film.
Right.
And oh, what a beautiful job he did of it. Then Harry, Richi's VFX. For people to come on board, it's all very well for me to write it and to
Yeah.
imagine it,
Yeah.
but for it to actually translate, you
Yeah.
you need partners who can understand that, and where VFX doesn't feel like VFX, it
Yeah.
feels like, oh, this is how exactly how it should happen,
Absolutely.
and not like, so yeah, so I can keep talking about my editor. My god, what he has done with the material and the rushes.
And
And
if I may add, the film is edited by Rameshwar, and you know him for all the big summer blockbusters, Tiger Zinda Hai, and the
Oh, he's from that
Sultan.
school of filmmaking.
No, but he's also done a national award. He won a national award for a film, Marathi film called Ventilator,
Oh,
and
wow.
he's
Superb.
edited the film, and again, really really lucky.
And your
beautiful,
actors
yes.
are so marvelous. And what I liked about it, Anvita and Karnesh, was the fact that you have a Paramrata, then you have a Rahul Bose, you have these two absolutely brilliant new actors. How did you assemble the cast? It's quite eclectic,
So actually, it started off. We did the whole casting exercise. We have Casting Bay as our casting agency.
right?
So they were showing us auditions. Ganesh, what, for 2 months? More than 2 months, I think.
Hmm.
Yeah, long time, I think around 2 3 months. And it so happened that Anvita logged Avinash as Satya first, and
Hmm.
Yeah.
that was she saw his audition and she was like, I found my Satya. And I was like, are you sure? So, and she was like, no, I found my Satya. And then we were looking at the other auditions, and we liked this audition, and we liked this girl called Tripti Dimri. And all of us consulted, and we thought she's great. And so it so happened that Avinash comes to office to meet Anvita, and he starts asking her about who is playing Bulbul, and she
Huh.
says, there's this girl called Tripti Dimri, and he's like, oh yeah, so you're bringing us back. And
Huh.
both of us hadn't seen Laila Majnu,
Right.
We
and
had no
we were
idea.
also quite surprised, and so it's happened like that. And I think Rahul Bose was recommended by Anshay. Forum, of course, we had worked on Pari,
Yeah.
gracious enough to say yes to the film even without reading the film. Such was the
Right.
trust.
Yeah, yeah.
And Pauli is somebody I've known over a period of time, and I've really seen the work she's done in the Bengali cinema, and I thought she's fabulous.
She is
And
just brilliant, and you've given her a
Super.
role that she really deserves. I think her talent was quite underutilized.
I totally agree. And
Yeah,
I think the biggest
totally.
thing for Pauli in this film was that she was bald, and she
Yeah.
was really excited for it.
She
Yeah, she
actually
was so
went bald.
excited.
No,
No, she didn't.
Prosthetics,
But
prosthetics and
pretty
VFX.
pretty neat, huh? Not bad. So
Yeah.
really, you're telling a story in such a wonderful way. Where did you shoot it? I really want to know, because that Haveli is amazing.
Isn't it? It's a
Yeah.
Thakur Badi, 2.5 kilometers outside of Kolkata,
hours.
in
Okay.
this place called Bawali.
Oh,
It's a Rajbadi and it was exactly that period. It was uh, constructed in the late 1800s. So it was
right.
so that architecture was neoclassical and all of that. So it just fit the bill. And of course, Meenal transformed the place, but the structure was the Bawali Rajbari. But what was really interesting for me was I saw so many places and they were all beautiful. But I walked into this place and I said, it's spectacular, it's the right period, it's impressive, and it looks like a box.
Yeah.
It was
Right.
beautiful and grand and these high ceilings, and it was like a prison, like a really
Yeah.
well constructed prison. And I felt like almost claustrophobic in this big place. There's not even a door, there's a small door which exists. There's no place, there's nothing. These walls you can't scale. So
Yeah.
just for me, that really spoke to me, and that's how we landed up going there. And then Meenal, of course,
Yeah.
created her magic.
Anita, I also wanted to quickly touch upon the themes because they are
Kaveree,
so contemporary.
last
Yeah,
question.
the last question. Quickly touch upon the themes because they're so contemporary, and yet they are so intrinsically part of that period as well. Domestic abuse, child abuse, so much violence, meted out against women. What was it like shooting that? It must have been terrifying.
It was. So, yeah, the issues are contemporary. That's the tragedy because they were true
Yeah,
then, they're true now. The
right,
thresholds of our respective Rajbaris have kind of gotten a little further away, but they still
right.
exist. And because those are things that bother us today, they crept into the story. The agenda was never to get onto a soapbox and talk about an issue as such, but to tell an engaging fable which very like a velvet sheath knife
Right.
bring in the message that we wanted to bring. But yes, as somebody who'd written it, so I felt it deeply when I wrote it, uh, and then to shoot it. And but what happened was that it was, I had such amazing actors. There was Tripti, who had to plummet to a very dark place
Yeah,
to act out those scenes, and she's so fragile, that
yeah,
fragility that she had. And there was Rahul, who's this authoritarian patriarchal figure who had to impose his will on her. But the beauty was that my actors, we had prepped so well for the entire film. We knew what was coming. It was still hard. We kept a very quiet, gentle set. It was, strangely, we were shooting something so violent. If you had walked onto set that day, it was a set filled with love.
right.
From Rahul saying, okay, so I have to do this because that's what my character is going to do, and I'm going to do justice to it. But Rahul is just a voice away. So you call out if you
Yeah,
or you feel in any way uncomfortable.
right.
Uh, and we will address it. After every shot, um, it was really strange because Tripti, Rahul, and I would go into a huddle. We'd hold
Yeah.
each other. We and Rahul was just so disturbed because he's
Yeah. Perpetrator.
the perpetrator, and he was all he kept saying is, "How? Who are these men? Who are
Yeah.
these men?" And he was
Yeah.
just pacing the set, so disturbed that who are these men, you know? And I think. And Tripti just she was incredible. There's one moment. I mean, I just have to talk about it. I know it's not relevant, but there's one moment, and that's something an actor can't act. Her pupils dilated in
Right.
camera. So imagine where she has gone to make
Yeah.
that possible. So yes, it was very hard. It was very hard for me. The decisions, the choices that I had to make as to where it doesn't cross the line. This is
Yeah.
the agenda is not to uh, you know make it into a
Sensation.
voyeuristic,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
sensational voyeuristic experience. This is pain. We are talking
Yeah.
about pain here. We're talking about hurting someone deeply, and that is all that needs to come through.
Right.
So that was hard, but made easy by everyone just bringing so much love and so much surrender to the table. Nothing, no one. For a first time director, I think for any director, at least for me, the surrender of your actors, they surrender to me like I have been directing for 2 decades.
Right.
They just trusted me, and you pay back that trust with love and
Right.
empathy.
Yeah, wonderful. Just the last question quickly to Karnesh, because yeah, because he's the man sandwiched between the two Shaktis, as we have. The woman can be the Devi, the woman can be the Tudel, the demon goddess, or the goddess. These are very powerful ideas. When you saw the film, how did it make you feel as a man?
uh, I think it warned you not to be stupid about your action towards women. Otherwise, they'll come and get back to you like nobody else would. So, yes, that's what it did. So, I'm, uh, you know, I think it kind of teaches you that irrespective of your gender, I actually don't look at it like that. For me,
Yeah,
it's about the inhuman nature we can indulge in at
yeah,
times. So for me, that is the takeaway, that do not oppress anybody to an extent where something drastic happens. And I think it is relevant today. It was relevant then,
yeah.
and I think that is the lesson to be learned out of it. That be nice, be human, and respect everybody irrespective of
Right.
he or she are.
Thank you so much. I think we can talk about it for hours. I certainly
I
can.
do.
But
Oh,
Thank you,
unfortunately,
Kaveree.
we have to go. But a really wonderful film, and many congratulations for bringing such a wonderful little gem to all of us. Thank you.
Thank
thank
you.
you, Kaveri. Thank you so much.